This short video describes the integration from the Planswift takeoff and estimating software with the Precision Builder Smart Assembly capabilities. Within the Planswift takeoff tool, you have the ability to create various templates that are used for takeoff purposes, some of which might be used to calculate area type measurements, others might be more linear takeoffs for calculating things like interior walls, others might be just count, where you're counting the number of plug switches, fireplaces. So within the drawing itself, you can draw on that master template of all the different types of measurements you're often measuring out on any new drawing that you're working with. And then when you're in the drawing itself, you can be able to go through and select the measurement type that you're dealing with, and you simply trace it out on the drawing itself and come up with the appropriate value. In this particular instance, I'm looking at the main floor area, and those values that you're working with in the case of an area are not just limited to the area measurement itself. Each segment that you're tapping can also be used as a point count, as well as being able to calculate the perimeter or the linear total of the outlying area as well. Now the question then becomes, when you're doing your estimating, what particular value of the measurements are you wanting to make use of when you're doing your estimating? Within the Precision Builder software, you can build smart assemblies. And for the purposes of calculating the quantities, you can create formulas. Those formulas have the ability to make reference to input values or variables, is what's referred to within the software. A formula itself can consist of multiple inputs and then general math calculations and things of that nature. And it's the variable values that are the input methods that we want to be able to talk about here. So if I've got a variable that I've defined as the main floor area, it's this input that I want to be able to supply, but I want to be able to have the means of extracting those values from the drawing itself and put it into those fields. So when I define the variable itself, I can go through and I can identify what type of input am I going to be supplying, and then for the purposes of linking up to the Planswift data, I'm going to select this condition link. And it's going to come up and it's going to draw on the master list of items or measurement values that I have access to within the Planswift drawing itself. So if I scroll down into here and I see the main floor area. Now remember, the area values don't just always supply the, in this case, square footage values. It may also give us the perimeter values as well as any segment or point counts. And depending on whether or not we had supplied attributes that reference the depth of something, we may also got a volume, which could either be cubic meters, cubic feet, or whatever you're working with. In this case, I'm working with a set of imperial drawings. But if I was working with metric drawings, then these values would be in metric. So in this case, I want to be able to draw on the area value. So that's what's connected to this particular variable. So what happens is when you're using this smart assembly, when you're on a job or doing a takeoff, and you click the assembly itself, what you're going to find is when you select the assembly, it's going to come up and say, these are all the different inputs that those formulas are needing to be supplied in order to come up with the takeoff quantity calculations. And because I don't want to have to refer all the time back and forth between the Planswift data, and I don't want to be typing all that information in, I'm simply going to go through and select the project that I've worked on within Planswift, and I'm going to go ahead and open that job. And you're going to find what it does is it goes through and it reads the information from that drawing and it populates all the respective areas for me. So I got the main floor area as well as the perimeter value as well. And then any formulas that are used within the software itself, when I hit the add pass, it's going to go through and it's going to use those calculations in whatever measurements or takeoff quantities that it's coming up with.